Hey everyone, my name is Steve, and welcome to GamerStranded. Sometimes, the opening segment of a video game is so powerful, it gets etched into our brains and forever stays with us. In ranked fashion, here is my top 10 list of openings that I will never forget.
Number 10, Final Fantasy VIII. There's a lot to love about the opening of Final Fantasy VIII. If this list was ranked purely on style alone, FF8 would probably be number 1. I realize I may be in the minority with this next comment, but I really like the character design in FF8, and to this day it remains one of my favorites in the Final Fantasy series. Maybe with Final Fantasy XII coming before it. I mean, on paper a gunblade may sound a bit ridiculous, but Final Fantasy VIII manages to pull it off with style. I really like how this opening gives us just enough information to pique our interest. There's a love story, a heated rivalry, and possibly a powerful sorceress, which will all intertwine with the main story arc.
Let me tell you about Senua. Her story has
Number
already come
9,
to an end.
Hellblade,
Now
Senua's Sacrifice.
it begins anew.
I interpret the opening shot of Hellblade as an image that foreshadows what's to come. Darkness and unclarity, with the sun serving as a faint resemblance of hope behind a thick layer of fog. Now, is this what the writer intended? I have no idea. But I do know that this journey with Senua is not going to be filled with sunshine and rainbows.
It's all you need to see it.
On first playthrough, genre-wise, I have no idea what kind of game I'm getting myself into. And that alone intrigued me even more to continue down this path with Senua. I can tell from the opening few minutes that this journey is not only going to be physically challenging for Senua, but it's also going to plunge her mind deeper and deeper into darkness.
Can you see us?
Number 8, Parasite Eve. As you will see with other games throughout this top 10 list, I'm a big fan of opening sequences that do two important techniques. One, they have some mystery to them. And two, I love when openings present spoken or visual questions to the player that keep us guessing throughout. Parasite Eve's opening is full of mystery and questions. Like, who is Eve? Why are people spontaneously combusting? And who is the little girl that shows up? What is our protagonist's connection with Eve? Parasite Eve's opening is just great storytelling that has me hooked just minutes into the game.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise
Number 7, Half-Life 2. I mean, what can I really say about Half-Life 2? We have this freaky vision with G-Man and wake up on a train that arrives at its final destination in City 17. We see this as a place where free will doesn't seem like it's a thing here. People live in fear, and the city is on a complete lockdown, with its citizens being treated like inmates.
Dr. Freeman, I presume. I'd better hurry.
My goodness. Gordon
The player is
Freeman.
reintroduced to
It
some
really is
major
you, isn't
characters
it?
from Half-Life 1, but the standout introduction is none other than Alex Vance,
Yes, indeed.
who is, in my opinion, the best and most interesting character in the Half-Life universe.
Future endeavors.
Well, let's just say your hour has come again.
Number 6, Wing Commander 3, Heart of the Tagger. I have played through Wing Commander 3 so many times, I could probably recite most of the game's dialogue. Aside from the excellent acting from the star-studded cast, I find it really impressive how Wing Commander 3 manages to get the player all caught up regarding the raging war with the Kilrathi, while presenting the player with a couple of mysteries within the first few minutes. Throughout the sequence, we see that Confed is losing a hold on the war with the Kilrathi. They've lost fighter pilots and an entire ship known as the Concordia. The player is also introduced to a troubled Colonel Christopher Blair, played by Mark Hamill, who is worried for his significant other, Angel. Both Blair and the audience are not quite sure what has happened to Angel after she is captured by the Kilrathi.
There you are.
Sarah.
Number 5, The Last of Us. If any one of the games presented on this list pulls on your heartstrings, well, then The Last of Us attempts to rip them out.
Jimmy, I am warning you.
At the start, the player is introduced to Joel, a single loving father trying to make ends meet, and Sarah, Joel's teen daughter that means the absolute world to him. Late one night, the world takes a turn for the worse, and when people start to go on a murderous rampage, Joel frantically tries to get his daughter Sarah to safety outside the city, only to find out that these ravenous people are not the only threat, and all hope is seemingly lost for The Last of Us.
Danny! Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on.
Father! Stay back, Mule. For the last time.
Number 4, Shenmue. Shenmue was initially a lot lower on my list, but after recording the game capture and really watching and dissecting the opening sequence, I knew I had to bump it up. Surprisingly, Shenmue presents to the player many story threads and questions within the opening dojo scene alone. Questions like, what is the Phoenix Mirror, and why does Londi want it so badly? Why is Ryu's father so protective of the mirror? Who is the man that Ryu's father killed? There's much more depth and story to Shenmue's opening sequence that I never really stopped to appreciate, because, well, there's a cool fight scene too.
Keep friends, those you love, close to you. No.
All I can say is that if you get this...
Number 3, Resident Evil 7.
Stay away!
If you know my channel, then you'll also know I love VR. So even if you are not sold on VR yet, I would encourage you, in the years to come, when you see a PSVR on a thrift store shelf, to pick it up, if only for Resident Evil 7 alone.
Someplace safe.
Resident Evil 7 is terrifying. The player stands in for Ethan, a seemingly average Joe who just wants to find his girlfriend who has gone missing. I think Ethan, like the rest of us playing the game, is thinking, what the crap did I just get myself into? We know something is just not right when we find Mia, and from there on, things just get weirder and weirder.
Welcome to the family, son.
Number 2, Uncharted 2. If I had to name one thing I really like about Uncharted 2, it would be that it feels like the player and Nathan Drake are along for the same ride, with neither one of them knowing what could happen next. I love the opening shot of the front of the train car from Nathan's point of view. And then, when the box smashes next to his face, and we see that the train car is in fact hanging off the side of a cliff. Again, just exciting storytelling. I'm usually not a fan of using flash forwards in order to create mystery or tension, but Uncharted 2 is an exception. Technically, one could call this a flash forward, but it's told so brilliantly by interweaving flashbacks throughout the flash forward. Still with me? If there's someone out there who will only pick up a controller once in their lifetime, then Uncharted 2 should be the game to play. Number 1. Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Now this is rather funny, because if this video was titled My Top 10 Favorite Games, then Metal Gear Solid 2 would not even make the list. But the opening to MGS2 is nothing short of astonishing. I had played through the opening tanker level more times than I can remember, and each playthrough feels different from the last. Then, after the opening, while I still very much appreciate elements of the story, the game just falls flat with the introduction of Raiden. Over time, and with the release of Metal Gear Rising and Metal Gear Solid 4, I learned to accept MGS2 a little more. Those games kind of acted like a software patch. They don't completely fix Metal Gear Solid 2 for everyone, but I think they make it a little better.
So what are your top 10 game intros? Let me know in the comments. And please, if you like the video, or any of my other GamerStranded or virtual reality vids, then please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.